unless that picture was tampered. Can you tamper a picture on a student ID card? No. You can't, right? I'll give you an example where a student had applied for a student ID card, right? A replacement. And he was sitting there in the lobby. He already had a student ID card. And this guy goes in, he says, wait, let me get back some papers and I will take your stamp. By the time he goes in, he gets replaced by his friend. I'm sitting there, the paper contains his credentials. His friend had taken his place in the meantime. So his picture was taken. And his picture came up on the ID card. And this guy had two ID cards with the same credentials, with two different photos. And this guy here used his friend to appear for his exams. Okay. And then a very smart instructor figured out that this guy was not there in my classroom the entire semester. He's turned up for the final exam and he's appeared for the exam. And something is wrong. Verified from the student affairs, there were two ID cards issued for this student. But this was the mechanism that was deployed to make sure that the two ID cards have two different photos. See that? That was a security breach. It's a real life example, and it happened. How do you deal with this problem? Okay. How do you deal with this problem? Make sure that when you verify the authentication mechanism that verifies that individual by looking at his passport, for example. After that, you don't just leave the room, come back after 10 minutes. Make sure you take a picture and generate the ID card and then leave the room. Okay? It's a very simple solution to a simple problem. But then it has serious consequences if it's not dealt with. Right? Okay. If you're speaking about authentication, there's one nice kind of attack that's very commonly perpetrated these days. It's the social engineering attack. Does that look familiar to you? You get these mails every day, right? And they just end up in your spam folder most of the time. It says, dear customer, kindly locate the attached file for important security for account, right? xyz.htm. And I received this 2 days back. This spam folder. You don't open these kinds of files, right? These attachments. Sources, even if you know they are valid sources, your bank will not send you an attachment, right? Especially if security information decided that's what it claims it has. So these are social engineering attacks, right? As we classify them as. They exploit the human thinking. You have something for your bank, oh, it's from a bank. Just open it right away, it's important, I got loads of money in my account. Something might go wrong if I don't deal with the security issue right away. Okay. So these are one kind of attack. Now, there's another example here where this message was sent from eBay Services, which is mailed to info@ebayservices.com, to an XYZ user. It says we're unable to process your most recent payment. You recently changed your bank, phone number, credit card. To ensure that your service is not interrupted, please visit this link. Okay. And update your billing information, blah, blah, blah. So first thing you need to verify the email address. It seems to be okay. This is eBay Services, it's ebays.com. However, you should also verify the links that are provided to you inside the message. Right? You don't just click any link that's provided to you. It might be a link to an unknown website, right? Or a web server that's going to cause some problems. So do not click that link. There's a better example here. The PayPal website, phishing website as we call it, social engineering again. It says, hey, this email confirms that you paid PayPal, blah, blah, blah. And it provides you with a link to the item that you claims that you purchased. Right? Now you scroll over that link using your nice looking mouse. Okay. You're going to realize that it's going to guide you to a certain IP address. Right here. It's not a genuine URL. It's just an IP address. It might take you, and it's most probably going to take you to a phishing website, right? From where your usernames, passwords, wherever you type in there, whatever you're asked for, is compromised. And that person goes into the background, uses your credentials that were stolen from you, and does something wrong. Okay? Steals your cash from your bank account, for example. Okay. Let's take a break here. guy here speaks unless we don't have speakers. Does it stop? Can't hear it. Interesting, Ubay doesn't have a pause button. Or it's too late to pause it. Okay.
Password. Hey, why not? If you can't trust your bank,
There again. It's not solid. I think this is a security problem.
phishing is a crime using spam, malicious websites, email, and instant messages to trick people into divulging sensitive information, such as bank and credit card accounts. Phishing sites look like the real thing because they tend to use the copyrighted images for legitimate sites illegally. Phishers use emotional language, scare tactics, or urgent requests to entice recipients to respond. Another tactic is the reward lure. You receive an email from your bank. At least it looks like it's from your bank. Your bank tells you in the email that you can earn $20 if you complete a short customer satisfaction survey. So you click the link and take the survey. Of course, you also provide your name, address, account number, and password. Hey, why not? If you can't trust your bank, who can you trust? But in reality, the site is a very well-copied spoof of your bank, and behind its trusted exterior lies a tricky phishing scam. Unfortunately, the personal information you sent has been captured by a cybercriminal who can quickly use this knowledge to drain your bank account, or he can sell your information to another thief. As each year passes, phishing sites are becoming more and more elaborate, and it's becoming increasingly difficult to spot fakes.
Transition from Norton, the designers of the antivirus. Like your presentation. Now, this is a very popular attack, right? And everyone receives at least a message or two every day, right? That deals with phishing. The idea is to not click it, right? The bank is not going to ask for your information by asking you to click a link, the information, whatever, or ask you for some information in return for $20, etc. So those are phishing attacks. Other tips that we have, for example, SAB website, which is valid, is different from SAABP, right? Make sure you look up your URL before you actually go to that URL and do something like type in your username and password. Because again, it will be a phishing website. So a very important thing is that you should look for that golden block. These are blocks that tell you that the protocol that's used for secure communication between your machine and your banking server is the HTTPS or the TLS protocol, right? Now, this block here, when you double click it, it provides you with information about its certificate. It's a digital certificate. It's issued by a very popular certificate issuing authority, which is called the CA. And mostly it's in North America, like VeriSign and Equifax. And they have validity period, and the name of the client has been issued. So this is very important. If this does not take place, you can't verify the credentials of your bank, do not proceed further. It's protection of your account information from being revealed to the wrong people. The KVPN portal has a HTTPS as well, but you can't see it, right? Because they've used some dynamic mechanisms where the portion of the website where you type in your username and password below the blue colored box, that's protected. Everything else is normal HTTP. Right? That's why you can't see it, but it's safe. Right?
How do we know it's not efficient?
Because it's KVPN and you work with them, right? But if it's an unknown website on the internet, don't do it. Okay. Make sure it's HTTPS. You go to the portal, you say view page source, you're going to see HTTPS somewhere in the page source. Okay. That's what tells you that the KVPN portal is safe. This is just what I told you before. Like upon mouse over without clicking, you'll see a strange-looking address to a link that's provided to you inside the mail message that you received. Do not click that; it's going to take you to phishing websites. And online sites do not request for usernames, passwords, account information through pop-up windows. They don't do that, right? The pop-up window comes up, good, but it should have an HTTPS and a log. If it doesn't, just back out, right? That's it for the 5 pillars of security. There's another very important terminology. I put that in because it's a very common kind of attack or malicious activity that's perpetrated by the attackers, the hackers, against resources. It's a network. It's called a botnet. Botnet is essentially a network of computers that are called bots or zombies, right? And what they do is participate in an attack against a single server somewhere on the internet, and this is called the DDoS attack, distributed denial of service attack. Right. Now, why do they do it? Because they're controlled and asked to do this thing by a command and control center. Right. There's another machine, and this is what it looks like. The guy right on the top is a CCC, a command and control unit, and it instructs a whole bunch of computers all over the world. They do something bad, send a whole bunch of requests to the single poor victim. Could be an eBay server or mail.yahoo.com. Gets overwhelmed, like the grocery store, where you can't enter at 5 p.m. And then the guys who are the good ones, they can't access these services. It goes down. What are the repercussions? If it's a banking server, you would like to go for another bank. If it's an eBay server, you can't buy things, you go for another website where you can buy things. You need to travel. There's an airline server here. You travel tomorrow, go for another airline, buy the ticket from their airline, get out, right? It has business implications. 2 years back, this was the attack statistic that we had for these kinds of attacks. We had 562 perpetrators, command and control centers, and they existed in around 62 countries all over the world. And the exact number of attacks that were launched was 193,051. The victims were 19,835 servers, and they were located or situated inside 112 countries. That's the extent of popularity of these kinds of attacks. Right, let's see why these people cause these kinds of attacks. Because they're very inexpensive, right? You can't just go ahead and launch these attacks for a minimum amount of money. Okay, look at that. For socio-economic reasons to launch these attacks. Competitor servers are brought down for gaining unfair market advantage. It's one of the main reasons for launching these kinds of attacks, right? What do? You go to a server, it's an e-commerce server, and you have things on it, you want to sell them. The competitor right next door, he says, well, okay, let's bring this guy's server down so that customers are targeted or forwarded to my service, and this guy here, he loses business. You can purchase these botnets. How much does it cost? It costs around $0.05 for a 1-minute botnet. Computers are there, the bots are there. The CCC is going to be told, hey, this guy's purchased a botnet for this much amount of time, and you need to target this victim. They'll do it, right? $5,000 a day, you can have like 70,000 machines. And a network of 70,000 machines is going to target and kill your victim, server, whatever or wherever it is. This actually happened. CEO of Orbit Communications, right? Paid for 3 botnet owners to launch an attack against competitor websites. This is like $3,000 to $10,000. And then he was caught, so that's why we have this on the slide, right?